That's you. Teamwork. This time we'll proceed with the agenda provided. If there is no dissent from the board members. For Oregon Revised Statute ORS 192.50, this meeting is being video recorded and will be posted on the Winston-Dillard School District website. We'll start out with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And take roll call. We have all four board members present. At this time, we'll open the budget hearing. We'll receive public input at this time. We'll open the budget hearing for public input. If anybody has anything they would like to share, we'll give time as we go through some of these other things before we close it. So if anyone has anything or thinks of anything that they want to ask, feel free. So we'll go right to the superintendent report.
Passing most of my time back to Jeff and Michelle, since they'll be presenting tonight. I do want to just mention that last. Good, Bobby? That last, if you, in your board packet, there's that last enrollment report on 6/5, was the 12/17, down 3 students. We'll be interested to see what enrollment looks like coming in September. Hoping that we can stabilize, if not increase enrollment. So we'll see how it goes. And all I have for right now.
5 years, huh? Okay, rest of the report, I have nothing to report. Items of discussion, Winston-Dillard School District Secondary School recap. Dillard Alt.
All right. Thank you for having us here tonight. Craig and I will be giving you guys a little recap of what we did this year, and we're pretty excited about where we're going and where we're headed. So just to start off here, just kind of our school direction. Mainly want to focus on the red ones there, but our mission, our vision, which we've kept the same from last year. But our improvement goals, graduation rate, our freshmen on track for graduation, our attendance, and our effective professional development for staff. So really focusing on what do our teachers need on that last one to help support our students. So our graduation rates is the first one we're going to start with. So what our students need, completion is 24 credits and 100 community service hours. Some of our strategies to complete that freshman on track intervention schedules that we use, that's our daily schedules of getting kids in the classrooms and they get to sign up for teachers that they're missing stuff, or tests they need to retake, whatever that might be, or teachers pull them. Grade level focused professional learning communities, like our PLCs, that's our teacher groups, specifically designed at each grade level to help support our kids in need. Our Center for High School Success partnership has been a tremendous help. Some of their resources have been great. And then just attendance tracking with our SROs and our front office, really keeping track of our kids and where they're at and what they're doing, and reaching out when they do hit those marks of like, hey, you're not here, you're not attending, what's going on, how do we get you here? So here's our kind of our breakdown over the past few years. I kind of kept back to 21, 22. So this is our graduation rate. We have a different one for the state that reports a little bit differently, but our in-building seniors for this year, we had 100% graduate. So every student that we had in our building that we control the outcomes, we had 100% of them graduate. So that was a pretty good feeling. We haven't hit that mark in a while. So last year we were close, but this year we got it. So I know our counselors and our teachers were really working hard at getting kids in there, interventions effective, all of it. Our Finish Strong plans that we did at the end of the year, we got those last few that were just right there. We got them across. So it was a pretty good feeling to see those few walk and graduate.
So what's the difference between your state report?
So the state one includes students that may have been in the cohort, so that they left us or they dropped off somewhere, and there's some of them we can't control where they go. So if they don't ever sign up somewhere else, it counts against us instead of, them going to Roseburg or Sutherland or Southampton.
And we're always trying to track that.
Yep, yeah, it can be a hassle. Yep,
Like if they go online or if they just homeschool?
or they go out of state and we just lose track of where they went. Yeah, so our freshman on track is our next strategy. So that is hitting our ninth graders right at the beginning of high school and really focusing a lot of our attention on keeping them on track. So the goal of that is to complete a quarter of the credits they need to graduate. So that's at least 6 out of the 7 credits possible their first year of high school. So that'll be 6 out of 24 total that they need. So receiving no more than 1 F each semester. So some of our strategies for that are pretty similar to our graduation stuff. So our freshman success period that we have, that's one that we implemented this year pretty strong. We've had it for a couple of years, but it really came on strong this year. It's some of those first semester we focused on really just some of the basics of what do we do in high school? What are the skills that we need? How do we organize ourselves? How do we get to class on time? How do we talk to teachers? How do we advocate for ourselves when we don't know what's going on or we missed a day? So just some of those basic skills they need to start to grow up into high school and be ready for those types of situations. Freshman credit recovery for semester 2, so we kept that period, but this year was the first year we did this. So any freshman that failed a core class, math, English, or science, we kept them in a freshman success period, and they worked on credit recovery for that. So if they missed one of those core classes, they had a whole period every single day where they worked on proficiency to regain that credit. And our teachers worked hard at creating that opportunity for those kids so they could stay on track and get some of those baseline skills up and some of those deficits. And we had some pretty good success with it for our first year doing it. So we're pretty happy with that turnout. Again, our interventions, freshman focused, our PLC group has been tremendous, vertically aligned with the middle school, which I'm sure Michelle's going to get into here in a minute. And our attendance in the Center for High School Success again. So our freshmen on track this year, again, pretty happy with the outcome. Go ahead.
So do other schools do this? So if you get a freshman to come in the middle of the year, you don't, so they have to start over and you have to.
No, they don't. We just put them right in there. They just continue from where they are with us. We try to catch them up. Yeah. The Center of High School Success is actually kind of modeling after what we're doing here because no one else is doing this right now. From the junior high all the way up. They were really nervous about the junior high doing it, but now they're excited because it's working so well. So I think it's going to catch on with some other schools before too long that they're affiliated with.
Yeah, I didn't know how the incoming freshman would.
Yeah. So our results right there that you see, so that bottom box there, end of year 25-26, our goal with this year was a pretty high goal to maintain at least 85% on track. By the end of the school year, we hit 92. That's the best we've had since I've been here. So that's pretty awesome. Last year we hit 88 and we were stoked about that, but 92 is a pretty big hit for us. That's freshmen on track, attaining 6 credits for their first year of high school. So that keeps them on track to graduation. That is a huge precursor to graduation rates, is that first year of high school of keeping them on track.
Did the junior high do this last year, or is this the first year that they're?
This is our first year.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering when it come up that much.
Yeah, so we're at 4% from last year.
Yeah.
But that credit recovery, I put a note down there. We had 6 students that were able to make up 1 or more core classes in semester 2 credit recovery. One of those students actually recovered 3 classes. They had failed 3 core classes, all 3 of them, and they actually recovered a credit and a half of core class material. And it's not just the credits per se of like, that's the important part. It's just they obtain those baseline skills. So moving forward, sophomore year, they're much more likely to succeed moving forward, having filled some of those learning gaps and that understanding. So we're really curious to see where that goes and how we can maintain it and get going better the next year too. So on track overview. So this is kind of an overview of our grade levels on the left there. So we have our sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So I did kind of a continuous from 22-23 to current 25-26, moving to the right there. Still for our sophomores, that top row there on the 10th, overall credits, we got 83% are on track. So that's overall for both years. And this year we had 86%, I think it says, obtained 6 credits this year. So keeping them on track. Our juniors, overall credits, 98% are on track. That's an overview of their entire high school career. They're 98% on track. And this year, 96% of them got 6 credits or more. And for our seniors, obviously it was 100. We had a full 100 graduate this year, which is awesome. So our attendance, if you guys remember from last year, our school tracking that we do is 80% attendance or better. The state level is 90% attendance or better. So some of our strategies for that, with the partners with the SRO, attendance tracking, like I said, at the front office, and building safe and inviting school environment, and some attendance incentives. I know Craig did a whole bunch of gift cards and school swag and stuff for kids that had good attendance, and they got pretty excited about that. That's been a pretty good strategy. Kind of a few numbers up here, but in the red is our 80% attendance or better for this year. So for our 9th graders, you can see the 90, and then the 90% attendance or better is the blue is 61. So overall, our attendance probably wasn't better than last year. I'm kind of curious to see some of the outcomes of that, but I mean, with our credit recovery and our credit attainment and on track stuff for graduation, it's those numbers have gone up. So attendance is one we're still going to be trying to maintain and watch. They're all pretty close, but at the same time, we'd like to see those numbers start going up a little bit more. Overall, for grades 9 through 12, our goal was at 65% of attendance, and we were at 62. So not ideal, but again, our numbers in grades and credit recovery and graduation were up, so we were pretty happy about that. Some of the surveys that we do, just to get some of the perspectives from our students and get their kind of voice on what's going on. And this is, kind of funneling some of our strategies that we do and some of our engagement with our teachers and how they approach kids. So this is pretty wordy, so I'm just going to read a couple of them out that we thought were pretty solid. Student voice, so in the engagement piece, that top bullet point there, 81% of students felt that the most of their teachers will support them if they ask for help. So that's just a connection thing that we've been looking at, like how are our teachers connecting with students, right? Being that they're approachable, that they can contact them, that students have them as a resource, and just creating that connection is a great precursor to improving our attendance and our achievement overall. Do you guys have any, if you guys want to see this more, obviously you can get it to Kevin, you can disperse it out if you want, but. Teacher voice, so we also do surveys with teachers just to get their perspective on things. One of the ones that we like to look at is feelings of confidence. So that middle one there, 95% feel they can have success with all students. So that's a pretty solid one there. We like to look for is like, how does teachers feel? Are they confident in what they're doing? Do they feel like they can connect with students? Some of the other ones we look for is how are our PD days? Are they impactful? Are they useful for our teachers? And they had some pretty good responses with that. So we were pretty happy with some of our results from this year with students and teachers. This is my last slide. So our roadmap forward, okay, there's a lot of words up there as well, but a lot of that is just maintaining what we've already talked about with our freshman success, credit recovery, 9th grade on track, graduation rates, getting our attendance consistent and up, creating a school environment that students want to be there, that they feel invited, they feel like they can be successful. Our PD days, we want those to be impactful for our teachers and meaningful. Being that it's a great resource for them to reflect with each other and improve their practice for our students' benefit. So a lot of that's a repeat of what we've done, but some of the things for next year that I really want to focus on with our teachers is increasing their skill and capacity with different strategies to connect with kids and to help kids be successful. There's different ways that, each kid's different. So it's the bigger bag that they have on their hip of strategies that they can use to impact the kid and connect with the kid, the better that they'll be overall. Did I miss anything?
No, I just think that although, if you go back to when we started this, is when the board voted to break this, the athletic director and vice principal job apart. It cost us a little bit more money, but we was able to free up our assistant principal to focus in on kids and what really needs to happen. I think that was one of the best decisions we can make. Because when Rob took it over, Rob started it, and then, of course, Jeff took over after that. It's just been getting better and better every year, and the data is showing that, it did cost the district a little bit of money by adding that athletic director, but I think it's showing by our numbers up here that, we've got a great academic system going up there that keeps getting better every year. So we truly believe, thank you guys for doing that for our kids. So we're getting better every year. So.
Any other comments or questions?
Any questions at all?
So as the show gets ready to start, this is a project I'm excited about. We are in year one, so our data isn't exactly where we want to be. This is something pioneering and new in reaching out with the Center for High School Success. There was one other school district in Oregon considering this, and that was a result from a presentation that Jeff gave to the region on the work that we were doing at the high school, and mentioning that we had a year of partnering with the 8th grade team. And so we had done that. We were excited, and we were looking at expanding it down into further grades. So Estacada is looking at partnering with us. And if you know anything at 3A size schools, Estacada has been one of the pioneering districts in Oregon over the last 10 years. And so it's exciting to see Estacada coming to us for our ideas. And so with that, we're in a position where it's new for the Center for High School Success. So we're massaging and feeling our way through, and we're informing them as much as they're informing us. And so it's exciting as we're starting to discover a path. And again, our goal is, we're considering it, our 8th grade promotion is our version of graduation. We want those rates to be up there, and we want to see that success carry over the high school. It's been really exciting to have a similar program where we really are starting to work lockstep with high school. And Michelle has done a fabulous job this year stepping up. And so, not to keep you here all night, I'm going to let her present.
All right, thank you. Oh. Next week. Okay, so our big priorities for this year were to partner with the Center for High School Success and bring that framework down to the middle school. And our primary goal is 8th grade readiness. We want those kids prepared. We want them engaged and successfully transitioning up to the high school. We also felt that as a building that we wanted each grade level to be ready to transition to the next grade level. Our second priority is on attendance, trying to improve that engagement and belonging, supporting their academic achievements, and reducing chronic absenteeism. And third, our professional development. It coincided with our partnering with Center for High School Success, along with our advisory planning, because that was another big change for us this year, was implementing an advisory period at the beginning of the day. So for our 8th grade readiness, it's really important that we prepare these guys to go up to the high school, because as Jeff was saying, they have to do their 9th grade success class, which if we can prepare the kids with those skills before they get to high school, then they won't rely on that to help them get into the groove of being at high school. So we want to prepare them for those expectations. We want to build their skills and increase their confidence. Because this was a new program, a new shift for us, we didn't have any data to fall back on as far as creating a goal. So our timeline was just for this year. We measured their on track, which is less than 1F by semester. And so at the end of the first semester, you can see our 6th graders were at 96% on track, 7th grade at 83%, and our 8th graders were at 94%. Those numbers dipped a little by the end of semester 2. And so that's something that we have to sort of analyze and figure out what the root causes of that dip, so that we can finish strong at the end of next year. So as I mentioned, advisory, the strategies we implemented to help our kids get on track for ready into high school is advisory. This is a place where we can teach our SEL lessons. It's a place to create belonging and engagement, giving the kids a teacher that they can rely on and connect with. It also allowed them to have sort of a soft start so that it wasn't like, bam, now you have to think about math, right, when you get to school. And then we also started at the Oregon CIS. They have a middle school component. And so with our 8th grade team, our 8th graders, we were able to start that to help them get into the mindset that school is important because it's going to get you to those careers. And it allowed them to explore careers that they might not have even have realized were out there. And then again, with our Center for High School Success partnership, our grade level teams, PLC meetings on a regular basis. And this is a place where one big part that we wanted to make sure that we were implementing with fidelity was our Kids Talk protocol. This was a place where the teachers would talk about kids and how they're doing, both as a person and as a student, so that we can find what those causes of their misbehavior or their lack of attendance or their number of Fs, and we can then intervene and support early. Along with that, we also have an intervention schedule on a weekly basis. It takes the place of advisory, and so that we can do those targeted interventions. So for next year, what we'd like to do is we came up with an area of need for our entire building, which is skill development. So we plan to create predictable advisory lessons that are centered around that belonging, and then each grade level then pinpointed a skill that they felt like their grade level kind of needed to have some extra work on. 6th grade chose the organization and self-efficacy. 7th grade was in the accountability and self-regulation area, and then 8th grade wants to really focus on that high school readiness and using the Oregon CIS from the beginning. We also plan to do targeted interventions, both individual and group, that are focused on that Center for High School Success work in the areas of academics, attendance, skills development, and then that root cause response, which may be anywhere from getting a student counseling to, making sure that they have a safe space, to doing a boys group or something like that, all the way up to just reteach in their core subjects. And then for our teachers, we plan to do our data-driven decision-making, not just, I feel like this kid needs this. It's based in the data. So using that attendance, academic behavior data in order to drive our decisions and what interventions we plan to implement. The second area was attendance, and we all know that regular attendance supports their academic achievement. Our school improvement plan goal was to be at 92% or higher. So in the chart there, you can see that I actually wanted to see, I did a deeper dive into the data and compared last year to this year with the grade level on the left-hand side, and then you can see our 92% or better has improved in the 6th grade, 8th grade, and overall, it's improved from 52% to 56% of our students are at 92% attendance or better. In the 95%, we see improvement in the 8th grade, which actually was enough to bump overall from 36% to 38%. And then we actually had some students with 100% attendance, which I was really impressed with, which also went up 3 to 4%. So for next year, because we have put so much emphasis on our work with advisory intervention, Center for High School Success, we put a lot of work into that this year. And so it felt like attendance kind of took a back seat for us, and we'd like to make that a higher priority for next year. So doing that attendance tracking, utilizing the Parent Core attendance module that we now have access to, doing those attendance incentives because we want to celebrate and recognize students for showing up. And the advisory connection, as I said, giving them a chance to connect with the teacher, having that advisory teacher reach out to encourage their attendance and be their champion. We also plan on developing a tier 3 attendance team to really get our chronic absentee students. And then for professional development, as I said, our priorities for this year were that school-wide training on the Center for High School Success Framework, implementing the Kids Talk protocol and intervention tracker in our PLC meetings, making sure that we have those actionable agendas and developing our data literacy. We also focused on advisory planning and then building our guiding coalition and consistency across the school. So this was a really big thing for us and a really heavy load to make sure that we were giving this to our teachers to make sure that they could feel like they have the ability and the capacity to do this work. And our action plan for next year is to take our skills development to big goal and then develop a small adult targeted goals for our grade level team, so that they can then develop and modify their advisory lessons to focus on those skills that are needed. We plan on doing an intervention reboot, so prioritize weeks for certain subjects, which can help plan for those predictable pitfalls. It creates consistency and makes intervention more effective. We want to continue with our start strong, hold strong, and really focus on that finish strong. And continue addressing behavior, because while we saw that our number of referrals were up by 17% this year, that's because we were holding students accountable. We were continuously reteaching expectations. And the part that I want to really focus on is that PBIS and encouraging those appropriate behaviors and celebrating those behaviors. And then celebrate the wins all across the building, not just with students, but with teachers and with staff, to show that this is the place that you want to show up and you want to be at, and this is where you want to do your learning. And just to reiterate with our skill development, like I said, this year we had our advisory period, which mostly used the responsive classroom curriculum and focused a lot on SEL and that soft start. And then next year, we really want to get into that skills development, which is grade specific, and continue with our social emotional learning and really create a sense of belonging for our kids so that they do show up on time and here all day. So to wrap up, we are going to continue with our areas of priority, which are our 8th grade readiness, that grade-specific skill development in our advisory, and then reinforce throughout the day so that they know that it's not just a one and done. With our attendance, monitoring, identifying, and supporting students to reduce absenteeism, and then our professional development. We want to move towards our phase 3 with our partnership with Center for High School Success to refine our systems and respond to root causes. Any questions?
What do you do with the so many kids that they're not ready to go to the high school? You hold them back? Do you?
Well, holding them back requires a whole team discussion.
How can you push somebody to the high school that's not ready?
What we can do is we can encourage them to attend summer school, which is our best happening.
And Kurt, one of the things that we're really trying to focus on is in the middle school, we probably need to have more of an emphasis on the soft skills and developing those soft skills. And so if you go back to the skills wheel, you'll see there are 4 quadrants, and all classes, all grade levels will focus on that content and those technical skills. We're going to use that content and technical skills as a caveat or as a context to then focus on in the 7th grade. That's really kind of a pivotal year, being able to self-regulate. We see an attendance dip, we see an academic dip. And so that is a really rough year, rough developmental stage for our students. So really focusing on self-regulation and using classroom stressors and those things as an opportunity to teach those skills. If we can help overcome some of those, I believe Craig and I can remember several years ago, we would get students that as their freshman year, really have struggling in self-regulation. I'd say that was the same for other districts that I worked in as a high school administrator. And so our focus is going to be continuing to support the academics, but use the academics to build these personal skills as we're at that really difficult stage in life. And if we can help the kids self-regulate, eighth grade, we're going to be more likely to get them on track because we're giving them that skill. And now we're really focusing on, here's the career I want. Through these inventories, what are the academic skills that I need? And one of the things that we're finding is the students are connecting, even this year, they're starting to connect. Oh, I want to do this, and writing is important. We started to see more interest in the kids going back and being willing to do rewrites. And so as a first blush at it, we're starting to see that success. And so to your concern, our hope is as we start focusing on those individual personal skills that they need at each grade, we're gonna remove some of the root causes. We're gonna remove some of the barriers to gaining that academic.
But there's always gonna be.
Yep.
A handful.
Yep, they're always gonna be that 3 to 5%. And
Yeah, do we have a plan for them?
I would say universally no. That's gonna be more of looking at those universal pieces. Our eighth grade team has been really active in working with the ninth grade team at the high school to give the story of each student.
So
And
that's
so-
what I was, my.
Yeah,
Would
and
you
so-
gonna
So
pass
it's that,
that on to the high school?
Yeah.
So they can try to make a plan and keep an eye on those kids.
exactly. Here are the kids, here are strategies that have worked, here are some of their deficits, so that we're not kicking them up to the high school saying, good luck, see you later. It's more so, really working on that soft handoff. And this year, Jeff, how many times I'm trying to remember how many times our eighth grade team, representatives went up and joined your ninth grade team.
Oh, geez. Yeah. 5 or 6 times, I think, at least throughout the year. And the last one, we spent an hour and a half going with the kids. Just last week, I think.
Cause a lot of the kids, they just get, lost in the transition from junior high to high school.
Yeah, and our present goal and what we've been working on is having that system for that solid handoff so that we're not losing those kids to the point.
And we did that last year, and we had a lot of success, just in reporting on teachers from the middle school, commenting on how great some of the freshmen that coming in last year that they were concerned about. And then they're seeing like they're passing everything. They haven't gotten in trouble. And then just those comments of like, yeah, they've been great. Like, so we had a plan. We had the heads up. We knew what their deficits were. We'd seen some of those behavior issues and, had our teachers be aware and, have good approaches for when they did act out or something came up. And so, and Rob's spot on with that, self-regulation. We did a survey this year with our freshmen and they reported, and their reports on that survey was extremely low. They self-reporting that they just don't want to start things or don't know how to start things or don't know where to start things. And so some of those skills we're going to work on next year, based off that survey, or that self-regulation category is huge.
Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that in the state of Oregon, I don't think we can retain a kid in the eighth grade because there's not an eighth grade credit.
Ultimately, it's a building principal decision on promotion and retention. So you'd have to find out really, in regards to eighth grade and ninth grade, what's the specific reason you'd want to be retaining or, not promoting the student? Yeah.
And research
Technically.
does show that retaining kids at the eighth grade level is detrimental to their.
Yeah, developmentally, it's not that bad. It's fine. It can cause more damage, but the whole Center for High School Success is meant to have that vertical alignment to prevent all the things that you're just talking about. For the eighth graders, that it's almost non-negotiable. We're not going to listen to the reasons why kids aren't ready for eighth grade, moving to ninth grade. They're going to be ready. And that's that vertical alignment that we're seeing out of this program. Excuse me.
Yeah, because when I coached seventh grade football, I had some kids that were held back in the seventh grade, and it didn't work out for them. That's kind of the question I had, you were gonna do with those kids.
Yeah, our goal is to continue moving them forward with support and closing the gap.
Thank you. Thanks, brother, please.
Anything else? Any other questions or? Thanks, Michelle. Informative, yeah.
So we'll go ahead and move to 7B, board vacancy interview committee. Kevin, you want to talk on that?
Yeah, does the board wish to appoint an interview committee for the board vacancy? We didn't have, any applicants that got their applications in on time. The deadline was the 15th, and then we've heard of some interest in other folks, applying for that. So we've extended the deadline to July 1st. But if we want to do it, if we know that we're going to have multiple people interested, it may benefit us to just do an interview, committee as well. We can talk about that process. If so, you would need to decide who from the board or all of you, along with a community member, like some admin, possibly a union rep. Really, it's the board's decision about if you want to build an interview committee.
I think the last time we did it was the whole board and superintendent.
Yeah.
I think, wasn't it? Something like that.
In 22, I'll talk to Michelle. Michelle has that done, and I believe that she pulled this information right here from that last time, which is in 2020. So we did that.
We did 2 interviews, we narrowed them down to 2, and then we had 8 applicants, we narrowed them down to 2. And then they have to reappoint, and then they have to go into the link to the election, and then the election.
We have to get there. You mean next year,
Yeah,
27?
next
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
If they want to continue.
So we could do a special session on July 8th, which is the next board meeting day. And we could get it down to a couple finalists. And then ultimately on the July 8th board meeting, you guys would appoint someone into that position. And then that person, whoever would be appointed, would serve on the board until June 30th of next year. And they'll have to jump into the election process next spring.
And it would be for position 2, which would be, well, they wouldn't have to apply for position 2, but if they apply for whatever it's called, but position 2 would only be a 2-year term.
2-year term, thank
Because
you,
it
yeah,
expires in 29,
expires in 29.
unless they want to go for a 4-year term. It's really different.
So that's what we should, to find out how we did it last time. If that is how we did it.
Yeah,
And I think
No.
that's a fair process.
I think you guys can all agree that all 4 board members should be on it. Yeah. Dave changed updated the website to say that the application deadline moved to July 1st. I'll work with Michelle for communicating, all of the, all of the things that we do need to communicate and working to, pin down what the process was last time.
Process.
Yep.
But so what it was last time, so we're consistent?
Yep, and then applications, which Dave, I believe, updated as well. Applications will just be submitted to Michelle and then that way she can keep us apprised of everything. We can get organized for July 8th, give it more time. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. Sounds good.
Moving on to 7C, 26-27 board meeting schedule, first reading.
That, sorry, where is that? There's mine. Yeah, thank you. Good find. The 26, we've historically just done the second Wednesday of each month, which that reflects, except for November. And oddly enough, Veterans Day falls on that second Wednesday, so we moved it to the 18th. And then in 27, going out, just kind of learning from this year even about how busy of a time that is. We moved the May 19th, which is that budget meeting, to the third Wednesday. And then the June meeting, which is this one we're at right now, also to that third Wednesday, if you guys are okay with that. Having that on the, it ends up, the second Wednesday in June ends up being this last student contact day. So it's super busy time for everyone.
Yeah, summer school session description.
Yeah, formerly the summer board conference, the OSBA will be offering 2 regional sessions. They're trying, instead of just holding one that's kind of, in the metro area that isn't great for rural areas. They've got a July 10th in Redmond and then that July 16th in Eugene. So it's training, collaboration, networking, same type of deal, just trying to make it more regional, less metro-y, if you will. If you're interested in attending either of those, just let Michelle know or let me know, and I can let Michelle know. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Does anyone have any questions on the budget? I'm going to close the budget hearing if we don't have anyone. So at this time, we will close the budget hearing if there is no other. So take it forward. Now we'll move on to the adoption of the consent agenda. Anything in there?
We do have a donation.
Pardon me?
We do have a donation if somebody wants to read that.
Oh, yeah.
2 donations,
Oh, two.
91 and 92, and once you're reading.
One to the trap.
Yeah.
From, Missouri Wildlife Foundation. Actually, it was a donation, but the kids worked for it.
Okay.
Cool.
The kids that were homeschooled and the Douglas High kids, they went down on Friday and worked, helped set everything up, and then several of the kids come down and run the games for them. So,
Cool.
but,
And we wish middle school wants to thank Knife River. For.
You guys want to speak to that at all?
$500.
Reorder the cement?
Yeah, so,
I heard what you meant.
it's a tradition where, our, 8th graders being promoted, we pour a section of sidewalk and they leave their handprints in it, sign it, so they're leaving their mark, and we're slowly building the sidewalk.
So those are the only 2 that I see on there.
And that's actually really important to the kids. I mean, my 30-some-odd-year-old daughter-in-law, like, my hand's there. They were the first ones that ever did it, or, so it means a lot.
Yeah, it's neat.
Mhm.
So,
So we don't have any other questions on the consent agenda. We'll just need a motion.
I move the Winston-Dillard School District Board of Directors approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Um,
Aye. None opposed? Motion carried. And we'll move on to action item. Budget resolution 25, 26, 27, 2025-26-7, resolution adopting the budget resolution, making appropriation, resolution, and closing the tax resolution, categorizing the tax description. Okay, this resolution formally adopts the 2026-27 budget as approved by the Budget Board Committee.
The Winston-Dillard School District Board of Directors approve the resolution 2025-26-7 as presented.
We have a motion, we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carried.
And budget communication.
Pay bills for next week.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Communication is the only signed up that I know of. We go to the order and have a nice presentation. Lisa? You have anything you would like to add?
I took so much time last board meeting. No, we just had a really great end of the school year at Brockway. We went to the high school for our field day and then had a play day on the last full week before we went out, and kids had a great time. Staff worked really hard. Our PE teachers planned a great event. Our middle school leadership, seventh graders, there were so many things going on. The seventh graders came down and helped run all the activities with those middle schoolers, or with the elementary kids. And we had a great send off. It sounds like it's an elementary themed activity, but in the inflatable costumes, you know. So I know McGovern had some events with those, and so did we, as we said, goodbye to students. So had a very fun and great end to the school year. Always bittersweet. We all are so happy for summer. I would say kindergarten, second graders don't want to leave school. So that always feels good when they don't want to leave, but we all need a break. So.
Right. Anyone else? I know you guys were all done your some great presentations. Do you have anything else you'd like to add or anything?
Just real quick, our leadership program is really going through a turnaround. Mr. Dickover's done a fabulous job with them. We had a great end of the year, set of activities planned by our leadership students. And, the group is growing. They've divided the subcommittees for next year to really focus on different areas that they can help contribute to improve student life and really make sure that we're sending, not only a group of eighth graders academically and socially ready for the high school, but also sending kids on that have that vision and leadership that they can further develop at the high school. That and, I have to, give compliments to Michelle. It was a little bit rough with some of our students. We had some kids probably not looking forward to summer. And so, we had some behavioral outbursts, nothing off the charts, but Michelle was juggling quite a bit. And I think sometimes that assistant principal role and that critical element in helping kids in those moments of crisis or just poor decision making. And at the end of the year, she was an incredible asset to our building.
Thank you, Michelle. Great.
With that too, Grant, the Booster Club and the July was awesome for the first year. Great job with that. Appreciated that. It was a great community event. It's gonna get bigger and bigger as you guys go, but we really truly appreciated that all that work gets put into that. And it's fun night to see everybody there. And it's fun to get back to that. So great job with that. We truly appreciate involvement on that. And then graduation was awesome. Thank Kurt and Bobby for being there and Lorna. It was a fun night, and it was fun to see all those kids go across the stage, and the smiles and the families were happy. So another great event in Winston. So two great events. Yeah, they did a great job.
The grad walk that comes to the schools also is super great event. I haven't ever seen that in the elementary and middle schools. It's great for staff. It's great for students to see all those graduates in their cap and gown in the schools. And anyway, how do we do that?
I will just add that these last 2 weeks it was fun being out in the school community the last couple of weeks because of all the things that were going on, super busy. And then a lot of work was happening behind the scenes, even to prepare for summer as well. So I just want to mention that. I know Kyle's not here, but we have already been serving food beginning Monday, day 16th. So,
That's great.
yeah, and so, I mean, there were 80, I think I actually met Kyle today. We were at G Grocery Outlet and there was 1,000 pounds of peanut butter that was donated.
From the community.
Right.
Yeah.
For sandwiches. So I just want to say that was awesome. And then Kyle, 130, there were 130 families that were for students that were served lunch today, which was Wednesday, just in 3 days. We know that there's a lot going on in the economy right now, and it's just ever important for our kids that the building principals have spoke to. A lot of kids aren't happy to be leaving for the summer for a plethora of reasons. And then so it's just nice to have this community be so caring. See that.
We also have summer school starting. So,
July 6th.
Yeah, so at McGovern, Brockway, and the middle school and Wakila will have students back on campus for our special education summer school and for our general ed student summer school as well. Well, I think we're planning to serve just over 100 students through,
Well, our initial plan was for 100 students, but we have 107 elementary students signed up, plus the high schoolers. So we'll probably be 25% over that. That's really positive.
Really positive.
that'll be 4 days a week for the morning, for 8 to 12.
What classes do they do for summer school? What is, say, junior high?
So the majority of the students in the middle school and summer school are students coming up to us from the grade schools. And so it's partially to make sure that they feel comfortable on campus, but more so, students that need just a little bit more, in making sure that those academic skills are ready. And so that's the real focus, is to get them on campus, get them comfortable, get them introduced to the staff so they know the staff, but also make sure that we're focusing on those reading and math skills, the writing skills. Make sure that we have that foundation, so when they walk into the door as sixth graders, they're in a better position, and also make sure that we're not having that gap where we're going backwards.
So what would you have, you know, the young gal probably, she she wants to learn more during the summer. My granddaughter. So what's out there for her? She didn't want to quit school. She just wanted to keep going to school. She loves school, but I told her I have no idea what's out there.
I was just
Probably not related.
probably an advanced Khan Academy type stuff that you would get online. Yeah.
Well,
I couldn't understand
UCC
it.
is putting on several summer camps this year. UCC will have
I
team.
showed that to her.
Yeah.
She comes to me and asked, what it was up there. Other than UCC. Oh, horse.
Interesting, can they volunteer? Could she volunteer to help? Because you learn a lot by teaching.
Enrichment.
Yeah.
The Winston Library also has some STEM events that they do over the summer and bringing stuff to there.
So Dave, we might just, that's a great point. Might just,
So the way we actually wrote the grant was that students who are excelled could join summer school if there was room,
yeah,
and that they would be challenged at their level. One of the middle school summer school teachers is actually the tag director. So I took the opportunity to get them individualized.
excited to talk about it. Yeah.
All right, well, anyone else have any?
Dave, you want to leave Dave out?
Yeah. I heard you talk a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, we'll call this to adjourn. Our next upcoming meeting, regular session in Winston-Dillard School District Office Committee Room on July 8th, 2026 at 7 p.m.
The next day,